Hello, welcome back. Ryan's Thoughts on Cars. Oh, I just got out of the gym. 7:30 in the morning now. I don't know what it is this week. No real sleep. Well, I should say that. I've been sleeping, but it's been short. I'm waking up too early and then not falling back asleep. I don't know why. It's nothing like stress or anything. Just waking up. I need naps. Old enough to need naps. Maybe I should talk about that in this video. Who doesn't love a good nap? Don't you, the best companies in the world, in order to get the best out of their employees, Google, for instance, let employees go for naps. Now, if you have a company and you want your the best out of your employees, why wouldn't you give them naps? Schedule nap time. Everybody can go lay down for half an hour, 20 minutes, whatever, and get paid for it by the company. Genuinely would have a happier workforce, and genuinely would have productive people. But no, the narcissists of the world want full control of you when you're at work, regardless of what reality is telling them. Luckily, I don't have that here yet. And I'll say yet because I've had really good jobs in the past, really good groups of people working together. And what always happens, it always happens, because narcissists and people like that really like those powerful positions, right? Where they get to tell people what to do, where they get to pretend they're moving mountains and stuff. Really, all it is, they just want to tell people what to do, regardless of what works, what doesn't work. And that's what happens eventually, yeah. As soon as things get too far out of their control, or whatever reason, you cross their path in the wrong way, you stand up to them, they make it their mission in life to take you down, secretly take revenge in some weird, screwed up, roundabout way. And it eventually happens. It eventually happened at every job I had. Like here where I'm working, I have to be careful because there is a lady who is in charge, and she's already flexed her little bits of control. And I don't know, like I had that with my ex-wife. It was it was full on. I didn't realize it at the time. I was her flying monkey, actually. And after going to school and my learning about psychology and completely dissecting my behaviors in my marriage, I had the trauma afterwards. Not to bring up a dead horse, but my point is that I can spot it from a mile away. I get a small whiff of that now, and it's 100% alert. And narcissists, well, nice narcissists, sociopaths, like, well, not even sociopaths, but like, anti-behavioral disorders with no empathy. They are very charismatic. They are very good at being very good socially, because none of it's genuine. They just learn it, and they're very good at learning it, and because that's what gets them through life, right? And the thing is that there really is no recourse for people other than to stand up to them. Like they do seek out the positions of power, and they're able to fake out everybody in charge to get that position, and they're good enough that the general population cannot figure out a serial killer between a nice, decent human being. They can't until they're in a situation where, you know. How did this talk get there? I was talking about naps. But yeah, so she did one thing, and I was like, okay, that's a signal. I know what I'm dealing with here. I made a video yesterday about asking to be working full, kind of soft offer to work a second part-time job at the place I'm working at, where it would fill me up hours wise as a full-time job. And I can see that being a thorn in the side of this woman. Absolutely. 'Cause the problem is that I'm a really good guy. Okay. I'm genuinely gregarious. I treat people well, and in return, people treat me really well. And throughout my life, I've enjoyed things like full freedoms at work just because of that. Because I am responsible. I am, on time. I get work done. I do good work, things like that. Whatever I'm doing, that's just the way it works. And so what ends up happening is that I eventually get granted leeway to do things. Right? I'm not a robot. I don't work minute by minute, hour by hour. I will do a whole bunch of work at one time and then take a rest for the same amount of time, let's say, right? I could take a job and I could stretch it out. I was union. I learned how to do that from the union guys. I know how to stretch out a job to last forever, but in my brain, I want to kill myself. I really do. Like I'd much rather shoot myself than doing that. I'll go in there, get the work done, get it done right, get it done properly because I am fast and quick, I'm efficient, and I'm good. And in that sense, when I am dealing with a reasonable, decent human being, I am granted all kinds of leeway. Right? They're happy to have me there because when a job needs to get done, it gets done, and it gets done right. Right? Narcissists generally abuse that to the point where I get rewarded with more work, and then I have no interest of being there. And it works like that when I work for myself, right? You charge an X dollars amount to do a job, and you kind of make numbers based on how many hours and this and that materials it would take to do that job. You give that number, there you get paid. Now you can go in there, and if you've got a really good crew of guys, everybody knows their stuff. Like I base that number always on worst case scenarios where it's going to take longer than usual, things like that. Because when something doesn't work out 100% well, you have some, and it goes like it's basically supposed to go, where you're hiring a bunch of people that you don't know, and they kind of got to plug away at the job, and then you know that's it, and the number reaches that number. But on the upside, like if it's a couple of guys, you can do this job, and normally we would charge this much, but hey, we're clicking with this, we can get this done in like half the time. And boom, it's done. It's happy. Good job. Person is always happy. It's always the weird, screwed up people, probably the narcissists who go, well, it only took you half the time, so I'm only going to pay you for half. Right? No, you get in there, you get the job done, and usually, if they're decent human beings, you go, great job, here you go, full pay, right? And I hate dealing with personality disorders. Because you're not dealing with people at that point. Like you're dealing with personality disorders, and that's I think something people get wrong. Oh, this person, and they're like this, and they're like that, and I'm just gonna deal. They're not people. They're not people. It's a personality disorder, and you have to look at it that way. Like, yeah, like I can see. So at this job, like I'm getting to, granted this. So if I end up doing that, or if it is offered, I can see them saying no, because I get to work one side, then I get to work the other, and I can see in some control freak's brain that they don't like that for whatever reason. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Just that person has too much, leeway, sort of thing. So it'll be interesting to see if I do get offered that, and when it is offered, to see what happens from it. I hope this video does get posted, and I can look back on it and see what happens when and if this ever materializes. That would be something really cool. That would be something really cool. Because as it was, I talked with my guy that I work with who hired me, and I said, "Look, I work these other two jobs. Like I'm trying to get a full-time income, sort of, as much as I can, and I'll stick to a couple of days here, but my other jobs are kind of sporadic, right? Where some days they want me to work, some days they don't. Some days they call me for these off jobs because it's for doctor's appointments and hospital transfers, right? And it's not always on the days that I am there scheduled to drive a bus, sort of thing. Sometimes it's even on the weekends. So he said your schedule's pretty flexible. Pick a couple of days during the week, and we'll keep those solid. Because then, he does, I do need to know when you're going to be here. He's saying, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I said, but can I flip around a couple of, there's a day in the week here. I'm like, can I move that around just in case I get these other jobs? Because if I would much rather be working on a day rather than sitting at home. So if a bus thing comes up, let's say on a Wednesday, and I'm scheduled to work here for a Wednesday, I would ask, hey, can I move it to a Thursday and work the Wednesday at the bus thing and then the Thursday back here? That way I can get paid instead of choosing one or the other, right? And that was actually, it was okay in the beginning, and we were doing that. And then the hammer came down from the lady, and I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Here we go. Like they're not really paying enough for the position. They really aren't. Can't survive on it. So, and they got somebody fully qualified, more than fully qualified. I'm the only person. We were talking about this. We went for a meeting, a maintenance meeting with all the maintenance people, sort of thing. And I went and I met everybody. And I am the only ticketed person. I'm the only person with a trade and who's ticketed. And in my lifetime, that goes two ways. You can command when things are in demand. You can command a wage, command, things like that, the top wage. But on the other hand, too, in certain places, it's a threat. People perceive it as soon as you're competent and they call you overqualified, right? As a way to get rid of you, because they see it as a threat. And I've found that at jobs where I am a competent person and I'm more competent than the bosses that are there. And I have nothing to do. I don't want your job. Like, I do not want your job. I'm just here. I want to put in time. I want to collect my paycheck and I want to go home. Just leave me alone. Let me do my thing, right? And for whatever reason, you get singled out because you're overqualified. It's a man thing, I think, right? Like, you know, puff the chest and see you as a threat and give you a hard time. And when it's livelihoods involved, not just like in a room or in a sport or something like that, but when your livelihood is involved, like it's extra. Guys will fight to the death for shit like that. They will put you down. They will put you down. They will try to keep you down because they see you as a threat, even though you're not, right? Women, I don't get. Women just like to torture men, especially if they got a personality disorder. They like to torture people. Anywho, that went too long. That went sideways. Hope you gleaned some information out of that one. Like, subscribe, leave something in the comments. Let me know that you're listening. Really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.